Tonight we are reading Paul Jennings' Singenpoo Strikes Again. Let's have a look. How does this one start? Oops, poor old book. Here we go. I can hardly bear to write about it. Poor old Singenpoo, after herding all the mice out of Major Mac's chicken shop like a sheepdog, you'd think everything would have been great, but no, it was worse than ever. Major Mac had promised to treat the cat like a queen, and he did for a week or two, but now he was mean to the poor thing again. He never patted her. He didn't even feed her properly. All she got was beaks and claws like before. Last year he believed that Singenpoo could read, but now he'd changed his mind. He sure had a short memory when it suited him. Don't be stupid, he said. A cat couldn't read a book like about sheepdogs. Cats are dumb. Cats are stupid. And this one is worse than average. What's going on here? I knew Singenpoo could read, but I had to keep quiet or Mac would get mad with me. He might even decide to have Singenpoo put down like before, so I just swept up the floor of his takeaway chicken shop, put out the rubbish bins, and served the customers as usual. I didn't want to get the sack. I needed the money. After school, jobs were hard to find. You'd have thought that he'd have been glad to have a cat like Singenpoo. I mean, a lot of kids came into the shop just to see her read. I used to put 3 or 4 big pieces of cardboard on the floor. Each one had a word written on it. Point to rabbit, I would say. Singenpoo could walk straight over and put her paw on the correct word. All the kids in the shop clapped and cheered as I gave Singenpoo a bit of chicken as a reward. Singenpoo could point to lots of words. Tree, cat, chicken, bird, cow and hog. Her favourites were cat and chicken. She always started purring if you asked her for them. She hated dog. If you said dog, she would walk up and down with her hair all fluffed up and then run off. There she is, all fluffed up. Okay. There was no way she would ever read the word dog or even go near it. Every night after work, Mac closed up the shop and sat on his favourite chair. Then he would get his glass of wine and watch me sweep the floor. He used to open the wine at lunchtime and leave a glass of it in the storeroom to breathe. He thought it tasted better that way. While I was sweeping, he would give orders. "You missed a bit," he would yell. "What's wrong with you? Is something wrong with your eyes? Look, here and here and here." He would run his finger over the floor and show me the dust that I had missed. "You're useless," he would shout. As bad as the stupid cat." One night, he was in a really bad mood. He had been complaining all day. The food was bad, the weather was bad, the customers were mean. He sipped at his wine and pulled a sour face. "This stuff gets worse every day," he said. "I don't know what's the matter with it. They just don't make it like they used to." He turned his attention to me and Singenpoo. "I'm going to get rid of that cat," he said. "It's got fleas." "Last time you got rid of her," I said, "Singenpoo saved you from a mouse plague." "The mice all ran off," said Mac. "The cat had nothing to do with it." He had a convenient memory when he was in a bad mood. I tried to think of something to cheer him up. "Look," I said. I took out Singenpoo's words on a clean piece of cardboard. On it I wrote the word Major Mac in big letters. "She can even read your name," I said. Mac gave a small grin. He liked the idea of a cat being able to read his name. "Okay, Singenpoo," I said, "point to Major Mac." Singenpoo walked up and down the row of words. She looked at hog, she looked at tree, she even looked at cow. Finally she stopped at Major Mac. I gave a grin. So did Mac. Singenpoo stepped onto the piece of cardboard and squatted. Then she did a P all over Mac's name. Yellow cat pee ran all over the words and joined them together in a big blur. Mac was furious. He grabbed hold of Singenpoo with one hand. Oh no, I said to myself. He's going to have her put down. I just couldn't stand the thought of life without Singenpoo, but it was all right. He took her into the storeroom and locked the door. Then he plonked himself on his favourite chair. "Where's my wine?" he said. "You took it into the storeroom with you," I said. Mac went back and opened the storeroom door a fraction, and Singenpoo shot out. The cat escapes. All right. She raced across the room straight into the leg of a chair. Singenpoo staggered around like a... "Drunk!" yelled Mac. He sniffed Singenpoo. "The silly cat smells of wine," he roared. "It's been sipping my wine. Get it out of here. It's fired. It's sacked. I never want to see it again." "Can I have her?" I asked. "I don't care what you do with it," shouted Mac. "Just get rid of it." I was rapt. I grabbed Singenpoo and ran all the way home without stopping. Mac had given her to me. She was my cat. She was safe forever. Chapter 2. At home, things were good, but at work they got worse and worse. Mac yelled and shouted. Once I gave a customer the wrong change. I handed her a $20 note instead of a 10. Mac was furious. He docked $10 off my pay. 2 hours work sweeping and serving, all for nothing. And it wasn't as if I was well paid. $5 an hour was chicken feed. Then I finally found out what was wrong. Why I missed some of the dust and gave the wrong change. I kept bumping into things. I couldn't see properly. Mum took me to see Mr. Spock, the optometrist. "You're going to have to wear glasses," he said in a kind voice. That wasn't so bad in itself. Lots of people wear glasses, and I was glad that I was able to see letters and words properly. The only trouble was the glasses kept steaming up at work. Whenever I was cooking chicken, the fumes would make my glasses fog up, so I still couldn't see what I was doing. One night the place was packed out and I was working like crazy. Someone ordered the family special, 15 pieces of chicken with barbecue sauce, 4 large buckets of chips and 4 chocolate thick shakes. "Hurry it up," yelled Mac. "Hurry it up, idiot." My glasses were really fogging up and I had to keep stopping to clean them. Every time I did, Mac would yell at me. I staggered out of the kitchen and gave the customers their family special. Everything was okay for about 2 minutes. Then they started to yell and scream and spit. One guy was being sick in the corner. Oh no, what's he done? What's he done? Oh no, yuck. Look at that, vomiting everywhere. Ugh, he yelled. "There's barbecue sauce in the thick shake and chocolate on the chicken." "Geez, sorry," I said to Mac, "but you wouldn't let me stop to clean my glasses. I couldn't see." Mac went red in the face. He started to shout. "You're sacked too," he screamed. "Get out and don't come back." Boy, was I mad. I was sick of him. "Don't worry," I yelled back. "I wouldn't work here if you paid me." I walked home sad and angry. Mum was going to be upset. She was on the pension and we didn't have much money. My dad had left home years ago when we were all on our own. Just me and Mum and Singenpoo. Days and weeks and months went by. I checked the papers and went looking for jobs, but no one had any vacancies. Part-time work was really hard to get. What's that?
Would it taste bad with chocolate sauce on the chicken?
I don't know. I have it in Mexico. It's called mole.
What? Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I don't know about barbecue sauce in your thick shake though. Okay. So I used the time to teach Singenpoo more words. She tried really hard just to please me. She felt sorry for me. Singenpoo was my best friend. I would do anything for her and she would do anything for me. Then something happened. Something I had never expected. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was reading the comics in the paper one day when a photo caught my eye. It was a picture of a dog pointing to a word written on a blackboard. Underneath it said, "The world's smartest dog." My eyes grew round as I read the story. This dog called Mungo could read words. Every time that its master said a word, Mungo pointed to it on the blackboard. Listen to this, I said to Mum. I read it out loud. Mr. Gerald Kane of Adelaide has a dog that can point to words. During one trial, Mungo pointed to the words rat, tin, man and peg. Mungo has been on television and now performs daily at shows throughout the country. Mr. Kane has grown rich on Mungo's earnings. I think he's got a plan, doesn't he? Look, showing his mum. Wow, I yelled. They're really easy words. Singenpoo can read better than that. Yesterday she pointed to constipation. You can't get much harder than that. This was wonderful news. If people paid to go and see Mungo, they would pay to see Singenpoo. We were going to be rich. Wow. Mum's pretty impressed, isn't she? All right. Oh, chapter 3. The next night there was a knock on the door. I couldn't believe it. Standing there as large as life was Major Mac, and next to him was a cop. Major Mac pointed straight at me. There he is, he growled. There's the one who stole my cat. You gave it to me, I yelled. She's mine. Mac leered at me. Get real, he said. I wouldn't give away a valuable animal like that. Not a cat that can read. What a rat. Mac was such a liar. I looked at Mum. There he is, big mean man, lying. She took a deep breath. Scott is a very honest boy, she said firmly. He would never steal anything. Oh no, said Mac. What about the time he gave away 10 of my dollars? Mum's eyes narrowed. That was an honest mistake, she said. Scott needed glasses. He couldn't see the notes properly. Don't you call my boy a thief. If he says that you gave him the cat, then I believe him. Why don't you get lost? My mum had guts. I was real proud of her. I took a step towards Mac. Yeah, I said, no one pushes us around. Mac's face started to turn purple. He wasn't used to being talked to like that. He turned to the cop. Arrest that boy, he shouted. He stole my cat. Grumpy Mac. The cop looked sad. I could tell that he felt sorry for me. Can you prove that Major Mac gave you the cat? He said to me. I shook my head. Yeah, said Mac. Prove it. Show me a receipt. Everyone knows it's my cat. It's been at the chicken shop for years. I've been training it to read, and this lazy kid, Scott, pinches it. This was terrible. Mac was lying his head off. I taught her to read, I shouted, and he gave her to me. I could feel tears welling up in my eyes. Mum put her arms around my shoulders and tried to calm me down. Here, pussy, said Mac. Come to Daddy. Singenpoo cringed and ran under the sofa. She wouldn't come out. Mac scowled. The kid's turned it against me, he said. That cat used to love me. Doesn't sound very like this poor Singenpoo. Look, she's hiding. The cop spoke to Mum. Look, I'm sorry, he said, but you'll have to give the cat back if you can't prove she was a present. Otherwise, I will have to charge you and the case will go to court. Mum put a hand on my shoulder. Go and get her, Scott, said Mum. We can't afford to go to court. You'll have to give Singenpoo back. I shook my head. Never, I yelled, never. Mum reached under the sofa. She pulled out the trembling cat and put her in Mac's big hairy arms. Singenpoo meowed terribly. She was shivering and frightened. She didn't want to go back to Mac, but he held her tight and walked back to his car. Sorry, said the cop. I'm really sorry. I ran down the hall and threw myself onto the bed. I started pinching the pillow. I pretended it was Mac's face. Geez, I was mad. Everything was going wrong. We had lost our chance to make a fortune, and even worse, my lovely cat Singenpoo was back with Mac. I gave the pillow an extra hard punch. Take that, you rat, I shouted. Oh, he's cranky about Mac.